Legislative advocacy is a really complex area. To make the most out of our work in this area, we work in coalitions. We work with other groups to amplify our impact.
When we can pull different groups together, different individuals and organizations who have different perspectives, and if we all work together, then we can be more solid and cover more territory.
If I find out that there's a big issue tomorrow, for example, that affects church-state separation, we will analyze the bill, and then one of the first things we do after that is we call the coalition partners that we have been working with for years. We will call the BJC, we will call the RAC, we will call ADL, and there's a lot of other partners that we've been working on for a long time, and we will ask them, what do you think of this legislation? Can you reach out to your friends on the Hill?
The first time we really worked together was on passage of the Equal Access Act. And what was happening in the early 1980s was that religious student groups that had been allowed to meet in high schools for prayer and Bible study, like the chess club or the art club or whatever, were suddenly being told no in some places by school administrators. You can't do that. That's prayer on school property, and that's not allowed. And what they didn't understand, the school administrators, was that the school officials weren't allowed to do prayer and Bible study on school property for students. But the students themselves, if that's what they chose to do with their free time, were allowed to do that. And it's a First Amendment right. Very early in the process, Baptist Joint Committee joined us. Over a 2-year period, we were able to get a federal law passed that said that religious students had the right to meet for prayer and Bible study at public secondary schools if other groups were allowed to meet.
When Congress is considering a legislative proposal that we are going to take a position on, a lot of our work has to do with educating members of Congress. And the work that we do there is really done one-on-one in meetings, in legislators' offices.
When we go into congressional offices, it is really powerful to show up with a broad range of groups. That is mostly because you can have a conversation with the staffers, and the staffer might be interested in something you don't even know they're going to be interested in before you get there.
Some will be listening more to the houses of worship. Others may listen more to the foundations or the charitable nonprofits that we're working with.
They might ask a question about how people's faith would affect something. I might be able to speak from the Lutheran perspective, but BJC might be able to speak from the Baptist perspective.
One area where I think we've made a very big difference is the work that the Baptist Joint Committee did on the Johnson Amendment. This is an area where it's of great concern to us because as Seventh-day Adventists, we don't want to see anything that allows more politics to come into a house of worship.
We want to be able to focus on our missions and advancing our organizations to help the people in our communities and not to be divided up due to the partisan politics that has been definitely in our country for too long.
In some ways, the Baptist Joint Committee at its founding was a coalition. We were different kinds of Baptists. We didn't agree on every single issue, as no Baptist does. And we came together because we all believed in religious freedom for all. We were stronger and greater because of our jointness. And it was from that experience, that initial coalition experience, that I think has made the BJC a great coalition partner over the course of our history.